They're back. Defending state champ Peoria Central returns after an injury-plagued season led by Sean Livingston, who's being courted by the NBA. The Lions face Chicago Farragut. The Admirals back at state for the first time since 1995. A sunny, beautiful day in downtown Peoria as the defending state champs try to defend it, and they get the start of that defense right here in their hometown. Hello and welcome to Carver Arena. I'm Lee Hall. The Peoria Central Lions have met expectations and overcome injuries to get back to the Elite Eight, and they take on Chicago Farragut, a power out of the public league. Number 2, Peoria Central against number 7, Farragut. For the call of today's game, let's go to Dave Bernhardt and Mark Lindo. Gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Lee. And, you know, Mark, I stand here. I looked in my program. It says this is a quarterfinal game, but, you know, this is worthy of a state championship game here.
Two great teams, two athletic teams, two teams that have great tradition. They know how to get here. Peoria Central's been here before, Farragut's been here before, and they're on a mission.
Let's take a look at how they indeed did get here. First of all, for Peoria, big win over Streeter in the regional final, then knocked off hometown Richards in a big way. Pekin fell the third time of the season, then the Lions fell behind by 8 early to Mount Zion before winning the Illinois State University Super Sectional. For Farragut, they've run through the public league. The big win, though, came over Westinghouse, 22 points over the Warriors, and then at the United Center on Tuesday night, it was Von Steuben that fell to the Farragut Admirals. So that's how we sit here, and we sit here with an opportunity to see 2 of the finest players in the state of Illinois. In fact, we will start with maybe one of the finest players in the nation. That's Sean Livingston.
Great players down here. Is he the greatest of the great? There's no doubt about it. He does it all. 18 points a game, gets the ball to the rack, gets the ball to the free throw line. Is it Duke? Is it the NBA? We don't know, but we get to see him down here in Peoria this weekend.
Somebody else that you will see, and you will see him as a monster on the boards. He's coming off the glass, Ollie Bailey.
Ollie Bailey, we saw him in Chicago. He is a horse. He says, nobody can stop me down low. Nobody has so far. This guy can play with his back to the basket. He's going to Rutgers. Big time matchup inside.
Let's take a look at how the keys of this game shape up. First of all, for Peoria, of course, they are the defending state champs. They were expected to get here. What's it take for them to get out of this quarterfinal game?
Well, I think the first thing is hold their home court. They've been here before. They're defending champions. They can hold their home court. They feel like they're at home. That's a key for them. Run for fun. They average 72 points a game on the year. They got to get out, run the basketball, and one and done. Farragut averages 40 rebounds a game. Peoria Central's got to clean their defensive glass.
Here's the keys for Farragut.
Well, disguise their D. Change the defense against Peoria. Try to confuse our point guard. Live at the line. They got to get there 20, 25 times and knock him down. And then finally get it low to O. Let Ollie Bailey do his thing down low where he shoots about 55% inside.
It is number 2 versus number 7, the defending champs on the floor here in Peoria. Let's go to our public address announcer, Paul Herzog, for today's starting rosters.
Good afternoon, basketball fans. On behalf of the Illinois High School Association of the City of Peoria, welcome to America's Original March Madness. It's the Class AA quarterfinal game featuring the defending state champion Peoria Central Lions, 28-2, and the Chicago Farragut Admirals, 29-3. Let's meet the teams of this contest. For Peoria Central, at a guard, a 6'1 junior, Terrence Smith. Another guard at 5'5 junior, 11, Jeff Wires. A 5'11 junior forward, 21, Kennedy Green. A 5'9 junior guard, 24, Zach Davis. A 5'11 junior guard, 25, Orlando Edwards. A 6'1 junior forward, 32, Jeremy Rawls. 6'4 senior forward, 33, Brandon Foster. And a 6'2 senior forward, 44, Leslie Weatherspoon. 6'3 senior center, 50, Reggie Russell. And now the Admirals of Chicago Farragut. A 5'6 junior guard, 5, Jeffrey Herod. A 6'2 junior guard forward, 11, Ronell McCoy. 5'8" senior guard, 12, Tizo Ramsey. 6'5" junior forward guard, 22, Lamont Williams. 5'8" senior guard, 24, Rocky O'Franklin. 6'1" junior guard, 30, Gerald Wright. 6'8" forward center, junior, 32, Edmund Love. 6'3" junior forward, 33, Quentin Hurd. 6'4" senior forward, Rodney Williams. And now, let's meet the starting lineups for this quarterfinal game. At a forward for Peoria Central, a 6'5" senior, 15, Dustin Warfield. For Chicago Farragut, 6'5" junior forward, 15, Johnny Logan. At center for the Lions is 6'6" junior, 34, DeAndre Miranda.
Let's go!
Another forward for the Admirals, a 6'4" senior, 21, Emmanuel Little. One of 3 guards for Peoria Central, a 5'9" senior, 3, Jacob Mottler. At center for Farragut, the 6'7" senior, 40, Ollie Bailey. Another guard for the Lions, a 6'6" senior, 14, Sean Livingston. At a guard for the Admirals, a 5'9" senior, 2, Rodnell Harris. The third guard for Peoria Central, a 6' senior, 22, Brandon Lee. The other guard for Chicago Farragut, a 6'4" sophomore, 25, Chris Singletary. In his 26 years of coaching, 25 at Central, the head coach, Chuck Bisher, a record of 527 and 186. Assistant coaches, Dan Ruffin, Michi Edwards, Chuck Westendorf, and Eric Heath. Head coach in his 11th year at Farragut, William Nelson, a record of 214 and 98. Assistant coaches, George Leonard, Darren Malone, Caesar Calamy, and Twan Jones. No other state in America.
Peoria High School 28-2, Chicago Farragut 29-3. Here are your starting lineups. Of course, you see Miranda along with Warfield, a couple of guys that were banged up this year. Don't ignore Jacob Mottler. He averages about 10 points per game, and of course an outstanding guard combination of Sean Livingston and Brandon Lee. They combine for about 35 points per ball game. For Farragut, we talked about Ollie Bailey. Emmanuel Little cannot be ignored. Little with 14 boards and 14 points and 6 rebounds a game. And Chris Singletary to guard. He could be the next great one to come out of Farragut. Chuck Bisher has been here before. So is William Nelson. The time span has been just a bit different. 365 days ago for Peoria. For Wolf Nelson, it was about 9 years ago. So we get it going. The Admirals and the Lions here in quarterfinal game number 2. The winner to meet Carbondale tomorrow morning in the state semifinals.
Well, we talked about it. This might be the show right here. Both these teams are capable. Both are very athletic. Will this game be won on the inside? Will it be won with pressure? Or will it be won up on the glass where each team has people that can clean it up?
Fred Allman out of Addison, Keith McClellan from Chicago, and Dan Manning from Rockford are your officials as we come to you high atop Carver Arena here in the city of Peoria. The Lions in their hometown. But it will be the Admirals with it first. Quick cut inside to Little.
Little with a great cut and the finish as he squared his shoulders up going to the basket, and a quick deuce really gets you off the side quick.
Sean Livingston, first time he has handled the ball today. Brandon Lee, Jacob Mottler, all those guys can shoot. The Admirals will open up in the zone.
They're in a 3-2 zone, and they're going to try to negate the penetration of the All-American Livingston.
Lee knocks down a 3.
Well, they love Brandon Lee. He comes out, hits a big shot for himself going to Northwestern. He is their main man as far as the ability to make a big play.
29th three-pointer of the year for Lee. Singletary, the sophomore guard, posting up. We have a held ball.
Good job by DeAndre Miranda as he stayed down. Miranda missed about 6 games with an injury right before the West Aurora weekend when they were defeated up in Evanston, but great job staying on the floor there.
Farragut from Chicago, a 169-mile trip for Peoria. They had to just climb on their buses and slide down the hill. The rejection inside off the shot by DeAndre Miranda. Little to the bucket. That's one thing Emmanuel Little knows how to do. He knows how to get to the glass. He's kind of been lost in the spotlight shown upon Ollie Bailey and Chris Singletary, but Emmanuel Little just quietly goes out and gets it. 14.1 points per game, and actually it's 9.5 rebounds per game for Little.
His game is, doing his thing is getting the ball to the ring. He did it right there, but has to finish the free throw line. There was one of our game keys, Farragut, getting to the line very early on, but they need to shoot a high percentage.
They come in as a team 66% free throw shooters on the season. Misfiring on both. Here's Livingston. Sean Livingston will elevate. Singletary the other way. Chris Singletary, a very physical guard. 6'4", 205 inside, and the kiss off the glass.
What a great finish. Singletary, maybe the second best sophomore in Illinois. They say John Shire, but Singletary, he is able to really see the floor, drive, draw, and distribute the ball to different people. That time, he finished it by himself.
Lee in the corner. Livingston, Mottler had a quick look. Livingston again. 0 for 2 from that range. The rebound to big Johnny Logan.
Livingston, not a real clean release on either of his first 2 shots, but all he needs to do is find some rhythm, and he can get on a roll in a hurry.
Singletary and Lee the matchup. Brandon Lee, best defender on this Peoria club. Here's Bailey inside. He's going to take Miranda to the hole. Livingston on the break. Sean Livingston, and a whistle.
That play all started, Dave, at the other end because Ollie Bailey one-on-one Miranda. Miranda's done a good job holding his ground twice. Then Livingston cleans the board. And you're an All-American when you can clean the board, take it 94 feet coast to coast, get it to the rack, and get yourself at the charity stripe.
Livingston has not found the range yet.
It's not real clean with his release. He's turning his wrist just a little bit at the moment of release.
Got that one.
78% of the year, he's doing something right throughout his career, hasn't he?
He ties it at 4. Rodnell Harris against pressure, gives it away. Here come the Lions. Livingston, the scoop to Lee.
Showtime right there. What a great no-look pass. He drew the defense to him. No look, fake to his right. 3-on-2, got the ball in transition. The defense created the offense, and that's what Peoria lives on.
Sean Livingston averages about 6 assists per game. Brandon Lee cannot finish the three-point play. Again, pressure. Little splits the trap. The man-to-man defense is locked on. Inside to Bailey with a whistle and a hold against DeAndre Miranda, trying to hold the big guy back.
And I what that is quite a 6'7", 212 is Ollie Bailey. He is a horse inside. We say he's going to Rutgers, and we talked about him at the beginning. He is so wide on the inside and so thick, he can just create an awful lot when he gets the ball in the low post, shoots a high percentage.
Leslie Weatherspoon checks into the ball game for Peoria.
Watch Rodnell Harris going to pop out right here for the far corner.
Single tries to take Weatherspoon to the hole and does. Can't finish. Neither can Logan. Miranda coming off a knee injury suffered only 1 month ago. He had surgery on it, and he's in the starting lineup today in the state quarterfinals. Jacob Mottler. Miranda inside. The miss by Weatherspoon.
Emmanuel Little says, I'm going to go up and get some glass too. These teams can really rebound.
Right now, Farragut the 6'3" advantage on the boards. Singletary trying to use his body. Livingston, his block. Logan. will stay at this end.
The key right now is just how quickly they're getting the ball to the basket, but not being able to finish. Farragut having trouble.
Back at Carver Arena, quarterfinal game number 2 here in the boys AA tournament. And we mentioned that Farragut and Peoria took alternate routes to get here. Farragut the big trip from Chicago, of course, the big city up north. 2,500 enrollment from the Chicago Public League. Peoria, 113,000. Small enrollment as far as AA is concerned, 883. And of course, the Lions playing out of the Mid-State 6 Conference.
Small enrollment, big-time players.
Indeed. Defending state champs.
The best of the best.
Cleared in to Bailey. Back to Little. Now Lee is switched off on Emmanuel Little. Here's Bailey. Has it stuffed. Livingston with his foot on the baseline. But Ali Bailey, who has said that nobody can stop me inside, got stopped at least one time.
Well, he's been stopped 3 times by Miranda right now. Miranda is meeting this challenge big time against Ali Bailey, who has held his ground and used his lower body to really keep Bailey another step away from the basket he would like to be.
Bailey about a 25-pound advantage on Miranda.
We talked about that advantage. Chuck Bisher called Farragut's team a team of offensive linemen with basketball skill.
And that lineman just tried to get an assist as he went inside. Bailey down to Rodnell Harris, and Harris will get a couple.
They are very thick up and down their lineup as far as their athleticism. Big, broad shoulders, but still the ability to have some finesse and skill around the basket.
Rodnell Harris, very flat free throw as the Admirals are 0 for 3 from the line so far today.
1 for 5 between both teams, and you get to this level, you get to any level in basketball, you have to live or you can die at the free throw line.
Last substitution by Peoria results in a major height change as Sean Livingston sits down. He will take his 6'6" frame to the bench, and he's replaced by Jeff Wires, a 5'5" junior.
924 free throw attempts by Farragut. That's how much a part of the offense, that's how deep they get the basketball. Triangle and 2 defense shown right here.
With Jeff Wires to run the point here for the Lions. Lee on the penetration. Logan will pick it off in midair. We'll go the other way, also into the ball game with the ball right now for Farragut is Raquel Franklin. Singletary to Logan. Tough shot, blocked again. Miranda gets another one. Here's Lee. They leave Wires open. When Johnny Logan went up and just made sure nobody else was going to mess with it. 6'5", 236-pounder.
Farragut, for the most part, controlling the tempo. They want a slow-paced game till they can reverse it, and then knock it inside. Right now, Peoria goes a little bit of zone of their own, trying to negate the inside.
Here's Logan, powers his way to the hole. Position inside to Weatherspoon.
Well, they're getting it there. They're just not finishing on the inside.
Long one from Lee. Not much scoring in this one. This is somewhat what we expected.
Good double down on the weak side.
Singletary. Miranda with another one. That was a flat-footed block that Singletary just pretty much pushed into DeAndre Miranda's hands.
Well, it just tells you how well disciplined he is, because most young men will go and jump and try to block a shot. He stays vertical, and there's a rule of verticality. The official will not make that call, and he is stopping the drives by himself.
4 blocks already for Peoria inside. Bailey got caught and got away with it. Little. Logan, yep, that's a push. Took that left arm and just pushed off.
Peoria right now playing truth or dare. If you can knock it down some jump shots, the truth is you'll beat us, but we dare you to. And right now, Farragut not showing a great perimeter game. They've only made 65 threes on the entire season.
And they are 2 of 11 from the field. Overall, Central, on the other hand, Peoria Central, 2 of 9.
Again, you got a triangle and 2 right here. They're going to put somebody on Sean Livingston, and they'll probably use the other guy on Brandon Lee.
That loss to West Aurora on February 21st. That's when DeAndre Miranda was out with his knee injury. And it was actually a stretch that Chuck Fisher said, you know, we were exhausted with all the media attention that Peoria had received throughout the year. He said it just came at a time where we were really fatigued. He's not making any excuses, but he just didn't feel like his team played their best ball in that evening at Northwestern University.
Well, he really felt like, he said he called the season a circus, and once they got here, he said it's back to normal now. And he said the hardest game is the next one you play, but he said down here they're all hard.
Offensive foul called on Chris Singletary. There's Farragut. Their streak, actually, you take a look at that Westinghouse loss on February 21st. Ironically, that same day that Peoria lost, that win by Westinghouse in the Public League semifinals ended a 20-game winning streak that the Admirals have been putting up since early in the season.
Well, what a great job William Wolf Nelson has done. 11th year, 214 and 98, but he really has these kids believing themselves. After they lost to Westinghouse, he told them, you've won nothing yet. You got another chance to get to the show, and here they are at Carver Arena.
Actually, that loss to Westinghouse did serve as that extra little bit of motivation here in the state tournament. Nice dish from Livingston to Miranda. The foul of the bucket. And there's the reason Sean Livingston, you talk about a man with height, with vision, with skills. Just a nice little pass inside, a chance for a three-point play.
He breaks down the defense and no-look pass. Miranda draws the hurt and finishes on the inside. And Sean Livingston creates that play almost by himself. What great strength after the contact by Miranda to finish.
If you were with us last year, you saw that young man right there, DeAndre Miranda. He was 6'6". I'm not sure what his listed weight was last year as a sophomore, but tell you what, he's filled out a little bit. They list him at 190 right now. He actually looks a little bigger than that. So he certainly was missed in the stretch where he was gone, you know what, for about 3 weeks is all after knee surgery. Can't finish the three-point play.
And free throw shooting continues to be a detriment to both teams.
Raquel Franklin harassed by Mottler. Looking for a 5 count, didn't get it. Bailey cannot get it over the front rim. Ollie Bailey has been very quiet here with 1:36 to play in the first quarter. Averages 21.2 points per game. And he's looking for his first points here this afternoon.
Great improvement of the passing angle by the little point guard Raquel Franklin, 5'8", 150. As he improved his angle, got the ball down to the right side where he had Bailey pinning his man on the baseline side for the entry pass.
Now Chuck Fisher will bring in a few more players. He likes to get that early rotation. Making his first appearance in is Dustin Warfield. Warfield's another player, 6'5" senior, who missed time this year with a stress fracture in his foot. Back, Dustin missed 6 weeks of this season.
And he's the guy they bring off the bench, and all he does is shoot 60% from two-point range on the inside. So he's very efficient with his offense when he gets opportunities. He's more in there to bang and screen.
Livingston on a nice little bounce to Weatherspoon. Gets his own board. Will stay at this end of the floor of Carver Arena.
Sean Livingston is just a treat to watch because you have to be in an anticipatory state every time he touches the basketball, because something good can happen every time it's in his hands. The whole offense evolves around getting the ball in Sean Livingston's hands.
And he delivers it so many different ways.
In exciting fashion, but yet within the realm of fundamentals.
Yep. Livingston rises. And we go off the top of the shot clock on the top of the backboards here at Carver Arena.
Even on that shot, you know, great players play at different speeds. Like slow, quick, the old ballroom dancing. That's what he did. Slow. He walked his man, stepped it back, came back with a jump shot. He didn't finish, but change of pace is what's so critical in basketball.
The Admirals from Farragut, a chance to tie here in the final minute of the first quarter. And Franklin and Harris in. Harris tries it and gets it.
He made one from outside the Bulls ring the other night at the United Center, and there he nailed that one from trifecta land.
So forget about the tie, give the 1-point lead to the Admirals. Livingston, the height mismatch over Franklin. Warfield, left-handed shooter. Bailey high for the board.
They're going to want the last shot, no doubt, is William Wolf Nelson.
Well, this first quarter has gone exactly as we thought it would. A slugfest, low scoring.
Well, Peoria in a zone, you should see some kind of wing cut through and then a screen on the weak side for a jump shot. They will not be able to isolate Bailey inside, I don't think.
They get it to him. Back to Little. Weatherspoon as time runs out in the first quarter. Farragut, the 1-point lead after 1. This IHSA broadcast is brought to you by Ept Electronics and Appliances. For the largest selection of electronics and appliances at the best possible price, visit Ept in Glenview. Back with the second quarter here from Carver Arena after these local messages. The big expanse of Carver Arena certainly affecting both of these two teams from the field and from the line. Farragut just 3 of 13 from the field, 1 of 3 from the free throw line. Peoria no better, 3 of 15 shooting from the field and 1 of 4 from the line.
Well, I think the big key, 14 rebounds for Farragut. That's where they live, but they are just pounding the offensive glass relentlessly, but just are not being able to finish. A lot of it has to do with Miranda's stoic defense on the inside.
4 blocks inside. Here are the Admirals from Farragut to start the second quarter. Raquel Franklin into the ball game. Lamont Williams sets a pick for him up top. Bailey, numbers against him, and boy, have they worked hard on Bailey. You see the gold jersey wearing number 40, and then you see 3 maroon jerseys enclosing him.
It's a triple team, and we get to call game 4 tonight. We'll see that against Sean Pruitt all night tonight from West Aurora as well. Big people draw big crowds inside.
Livingston guarded by Williams. And a little bit too much fancy work there on the far sideline.
Lamont Williams at 6'5", 200, right in the face in the neutral zone. There's just that little space between offense and defense. Whoever owns that space we call the neutral zone is usually going to win the battle each and every time down the floor.
Get a look at Wolf Nelson, and there's Chuck Fisher. State championship in his back pocket 1 year ago.
Now, where do you get the name Wolf Nelson?
Oh, we'll get to that.
Okay.
Good, Wolf Nelson.
Wolfman.
Into the lane, he gives it over. Yeah, Wolf Nelson, you see his name William Nelson, but Wolf goes back a ways, Mark.
Well, 5th grade, he said he had a very high afro that he couldn't comb very well. And once it came out of hat, they said, "You look like a wolf man." He said, "I never cut my fingernails," and it stuck. He actually had a teaching contract that said Wolf on it, and an official teaching contract with the Chicago Public Schools, where he is a math department head.
He tends to go by the name William a little bit more. I guess it's because people really do know who he is. There's Brandon Lee again. Lee started this ball game with the long jumper. This one's worth 2. Lee with 7 points. And Peoria with the 1-point lead.
Chuck Fisher calls Brandon Lee consistently great. You cannot get a bigger compliment from your coach than being called consistently great every time you're on the floor.
Johnny Logan works hard against Warfield, but Dustin Warfield stands his ground in an air ball from Logan. Lee open again, knocks it down again. Brandon Lee has had huge first halves in the tournament, and he's got it going right now. He has 10 of the Lions' 13 points.
And he is in rhythm and feeling it. Good hedge on the defense by Peoria.
Bailey sandwiched by Miranda and Warfield, and a whistle.
And we talk about Farragut's strength inside, but Warfield, all he does is go 204, and Miranda 190, so they can put 400 pounds on you on the inside as well and cause some havoc.
Ollie Bailey, as Mark mentioned earlier, says there's nobody that can stop him when he gets the ball inside one-on-one. His coach, William Nelson, says the only people that can stop Ollie Bailey are his teammates in practice. He has 2 free throws so far today.
Ollie Bailey on the year, 258 free throw attempts himself. You know, that's roughly 10 or 12 free throws a game. I didn't do my math on that, but that's how often he's getting the ball low and taking it right to the ring.
It's them both here. The Lions, the 2-point difference on their side of the floor, and the ball. Livingston on the pull-up. Emmanuel Little with the elbows out. As we said, Little gets up there at 9.5 rebounds per game. Bailey at 10.6.
Livingston 0 for 5 from the floor, but obviously he has distributed the ball incredibly well.
Bailey finds Harris. Tough shot, knocks it down for 3.
What a great inside-out basketball play by Farragut. Bailey knew that he was getting some pressure on the inside. He looked opposite with the defense collapsing, and they hit the trifecta from the weak side.
And now the Admirals go back on top, trailing by 4 just moments ago.
One of the best and most underused sets in basketball is the weak side skip pass from inside out.
Warfield, he'll go long. Singletary. A lot of gold jerseys hanging around that rim. Emmanuel Little looks back to William Nelson. William Nelson says, bring it back, guys.
Very interesting with 1-point lead. They don't want to play right now, and they will. They'll hold the ball for 5 minutes. And you know what?
So what will Chuck Fisher do?
Yeah. I think he's just going to stand there. He's pulling Mottler back. We might have a 5-minute half. With a 1-point lead, we'll see if William Nelson decides to play on. He could remain stubborn, but
what would you do? I mean, if you're William Nelson.
If I'm William Nelson, I would play on. I would definitely play on, and you're going to have to attack the zone at some point. You're only ahead by 1. If you go behind by 1 at some point, what you're telling your team right there is we don't feel as comfortable against the zone defense. I think it's a mental ploy right now, and I think if he had to think it over again, he's just being stubborn in some ways.
This hometown Peoria crowd is not liking the offensive strategy shown here by the Farragut Admirals.
Again, what you have, the scenario is Farragut's up by 1. They want a slow-pace game. What they're doing already is shortening the game. They're trying to get the game to halftime, if you will. Peoria is saying we're not going to try to play against Ali Bailey down low. We're going to pack it in, put 3 people around the zone, and I tell you what, there's not a whole lot of entertainment taking place on the floor right now.
Okay, if you're Chuck Fisher right now, let's assume Farragut hangs on to it. If you're Chuck Fisher right now, is there any reason for you to change your thought process here? I mean, because obviously a lot of things are running through his head. Or does he make the decision right now consciously, you know what, if we go into this locker room down 14-13 at the half, I'll take it?
Well, you know, Chuck Fisher is in a situation where, again, a minute ago, he probably could have changed that defense. Right now, both coaches, they're not going to give in to the other guy. It's a chess match, and it's basically time to go to the concession stand if you're here at Carver Arena, because we're not going to see a shot for about 3 minutes and 15 seconds.
Look at Chuck. He's kicking back.
And everybody in the state of Illinois watching this game will be talking about should they employ a shot clock in the Illinois High School Association. The National Federation have to pass it, and this will be one reason why they say yes. There's no doubt. If you don't come to the state tournament, again, I'm not knocking either side. I'm just saying you don't come to watch the clock run.
Emmanuel Little holds the ball, if you're wondering what the play-by-play action is right now.
You have an incredible group of athletes on either side of us, and we're watching them stand. It's really kind of a waste from a fan's perspective. But from a chess match, and you know what? Let's take the other side. William Nelson's doing what he believes in. Chuck Fisher doing what he believes in. And they didn't come here to be entertaining. They came here to win a state title. That's the bottom line. And both coaches feel this is what's best for their team.
And that picture tells it all.
Ho-hum. Well, we can't talk about this scenario anymore. We've beat it up already for 2 minutes.
I was going to say, we tried to work a 3-minute talk show here.
You know what would be real interesting is what play they have. They usually will run a wing through and try to get a screen on the weak side. But what kind of shot are you going to get the last 8 seconds? And if Chuck Fisher really wants to get fancy, he can switch to a man-to-man defense with about 10 seconds to go, and that's not beyond the realm of possibility. If they do that, Ali Bailey will touch the ball in the paint, though.
watch that clock tick down. We've taken it from about the 5-minute mark all the way down to 140.
Well, I hope they got the scoring highlights ready in the truck, because this is all we're going to have.
I don't know. I'm enthralled by this. You know, I take a look around Carver Arena, nobody's left their seat.
Which is absolutely amazing. They want to see the last shot. and right now they are deciding what it is they're going to run. They got plenty of time to talk about it, I know that.
They've seen enough. Moline, that's Moline leaving. They'll be playing tonight.
You know, and we kind of called this one right before it happened. We said this is what they're going to do. They're going to pull them out. I thought they might chase. You know, you can choose to take one guard, chase, and force them to at least pass the basketball. But Chuck Fisher's the state title, defending his state title, and he knows what he's doing, believe me.
Well, you talk about officials swallowing the whistle. I can guarantee you one thing, folks. We're going to have a close game at halftime.
And it might be low scoring at halftime as well.
All right, now it's time to get a little nervous. We get to that 30-second mark. Farragut the ball, the 1-point lead.
Will they go man? I don't think so. I think they're going to stay right in it. The lion-hearted.
All right, he pulls it down. We're ready to go.
They're going to play with about 12 seconds. There's 12.
Down to 10. Here we go.
Here comes the wing through.
Singletary to Bailey for 2. And a whistle with 3 seconds left.
What a great job. It's the delay of game warning called by Fred Allman after the touch on that. What they did is all the attention came to the cutter, and they hit the screener on the inside for the lay-in. Great execution by Farragut.
3 seconds and the length of the floor for Peoria. And a timeout called on the floor. People don't know why. That's because you're watching the IHSA television network. That's why. Three seconds left here in a very rapidly played first half, because the clock ran for 5 straight minutes all the way down for the 5-minute mark to 3 seconds left here as the Dunlap High School band plays on. Peoria will have the length of the floor and trailing by 3 to make up.
Well, Chuck Fisher got a free time out there basically due to the media situation, and he has a chance to throw a long baseball pass. You know, every coach has 1 or 2 of these in his book, the catch, the top of the key, and the tip or the throw to the baseline, and that's what they're going to set up right now unless they opt to just get the ball in Livingston's hands, let him create, and shoot a half-court shot.
He touches. He's fouled quickly. They had fouls to give.
Great job by Farragut.
Yep. They took 0.8 of a second off the clock.
William Nelson has really orchestrated a very solid first half. I've been impressed with his team.
Okay, we'll keep an eye on Lee. He heads to the far corner. Now he'll head to the near corner.
And they cannot foul here. 1 more and they're over the limit.
On the high lob. Off the rim. And we're going to go the other way with 2.2 seconds left. Modler just about drilled it from out of bounds.
And now Farragut has a chance. Every team, again, has a bag of 2 or 3 sideline out of bounds plays if they opt to try to run that.
Singletary to trigger the inbounds.
Well, the last 3 seconds of game clock has taken longer than the 5 minutes that we went through before.
Now the officials are discussing this. Fred Allman, Dan Manning, Keith McClellan. We'll try to listen in. Okay, alternating possession. We'll give it to Peoria as the ball hits off the rim. So they were going to give it to Farragut, said it's an alternate possession situation. So the Lions will get 1 more chance with 2.2 seconds left.
Great job by Fred Allman, though, coming and telling Chuck Fisher exactly the situation, and William Nelson heard the same thing from that end.
You know what I liked about what Fred did? He told Chuck, and Chuck wasn't, confronting me, just said, stay there. I'm going to tell you what's going on. So there was no big powwow at midcourt.
So we should be getting the ball back in play now. The key there is it's going to change a possession arrow to start the second half. Your odds of scoring with 2.2 aren't real good.
No, the question, I think part of the question maybe is where is the spot of inbounding the ball?
Well, that would be the, you know, a rule book situation where you are right at midcourt by the scorer's table side.
So it's ironic that, of course,
right where he was.
Yeah. Let's see if they go the same play. Here we go. 2.2 left. First half. Wires will have to force it. He was on line, but a little bit short. Well, we'd like to tell you that it was up and down the floor. It certainly was anything but that, but we can tell you we've got a good one here after the first half of play in the second quarterfinal of the game. Farragut, 16-13 lead over Peoria, the winner of this ball game, to meet Carbondale in the quarterfinals, or in the semifinals tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock. Let's go to Lee Hall. He's standing by with William Nelson. Lee?
All right, thanks a lot, Dave. Coach, an interesting strategy toward the end of the half. Not real popular with the fans here, but it worked for you.
Well, that's all I'm looking for, is to just play a good half, and hopefully we can get back in the second half and get back to our game. Things didn't seem like they was exactly going our way, so I decided since we had that lead, we'll pull them out before they pull us out.
Okay, good luck to you second half.
Thank you very much.
All right, back to you, Dave.
Thanks, Lee. And one thing about William Nelson, he is always smiling. He's smiling because he has a 3-point lead at the half. We'll come back. A lot going on here at Carver Arena. But first, these words from your local stations.
And welcome back to Carver Arena here in downtown Peoria. It's a 16-13 Chicago Farragut lead over Peoria Central. We are with legendary Coach Duncan Reed of Rock Island High School. What did you think of that strategy there at the end of the half, Coach?
Well, you know, Chuck had two of his better players in foul trouble, so that's why he stayed back. I thought that played right into Peoria Central's hands as far as fouls concerned, because they've got two big kids that can rebound, and there's a chance you get a third foul, especially on Miranda, because he was in the ball game at the time. But I don't like that kind of strategy. I think if you're in the state championship series, you're both pretty evenly matched, you ought to play.
Yeah, they did away with the rule where there was a day when you used to have, when the referees would wave them out and you'd have to play ball.
If you were behind, you had to, if there were three guys out above the top, what they call the penetration line, then you had to have two guys out there playing defense. If there was one out there, you had to have one out playing defense. But they changed that because people stopped holding the ball like that. And many games like this, you'd see something, either a shot clock put in or go back to it.
Are you in favor of that?
No, I think it needs to be kept the way it is. And you know, there's a lot of things they do basketball-wise and changing rules. One of the silliest now is the foul lane rule, where the guys can't leave until the shot hits the rim. That really gives an advantage to the defense, to the guy who's shooting it, because you can't get the block off. Before it was when they left the hands, like the collegiate rule is. That was a change that was made that was silly, I thought. But you know, I'm out of it. I'm a banker and a columnist, so I just watch the games.
Have you seen Moline at all this year? They'll be playing later tonight.
Yeah, I've seen Moline a lot of times. I saw him play, and I saw Central up there in that Quad City shootout play Rock Island, and Livingston got 39 that time, but the big white kid was out at that time. He was hurt. His knee was hurt. So I didn't see him play, but I like his body. But they've got a nice team. Chuck does a great job coaching. Moline's, I'll tell you what Moline is. Moline is a sum of all their parts. Every one of those kids in that team has something they do very well. One kid intimidates around the basket. One kid scores. The other kid shoots threes. The other kid breaks pressure with the dribble, and the other kid's the best athlete on the team. So they're kind of they're a good ball club.
What do you think? You look at Sean Livingston now. He's committed orally to Duke. NBA teams are looking at him. He's a high school kid. I think anybody that watches him, he's a great player. I don't want anybody to misunderstand that. However, I think a lot of people that see him agree he could use some more seasoning, yet here the NBA is knocking on his door and offering him a ton of money, perhaps.
He is a future pro because he's got the ball handling ability for a 6'6" kid. He can shoot the three. He can take it to the rim. He can jump. He can play defense. Long arms. He needs at least 2, maybe 3 years of college to get in the weight room, get some weight on, get some strength. And that'll come, I think, with physical maturity. But he is not a Kevin Garnett or a Darryl Dawkins or a Moses Malone or a LeBaron James or a Carmelo Anthony. He's just not that yet. Now, skill-wise he is, but not body-wise yet.
But how can kids turn down that money?
Well, if the money's there, he's got to take it.
Right.
I mean, Brian Cook took it and then sat on the bench most of the time for L.A., but he got the money, but he was the four-year player. But I don't think you can ever turn down that kind of guaranteed 3-year money. You're talking about, I don't know what his family situation, but whatever it is, you could talk about $3 million a year for guaranteed 3 years. That's more money than I ever made in my life.
You're not alone there. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, Duncan Reed, former coach of Rock Island.
Who's your cameraman here, huh? He ought to be in the movies.
He's a good-looking guy, huh? The ever irrepressible Duncan Reed of Rock Island, former Rock Island Rocks high school coach. We will be back with more after this local break.
The Duncan Reed halftime show continues here from Carver Arena. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Dave Bernhardt along with Mark Lindo. It is halftime here in the second quarterfinal game, and you just saw the score, 16-13. But, Mark, I look at it, and sure, it's low scoring. You know, we had that unusual circumstance late. But the bottom line is Farragut has a 3-point lead at the half. I don't care if it's 47-44 or 16-13.
Incredibly competitive basketball game. Defenses, I thought, really did dominate. We thought they might. Not as much up and down as I thought Peoria Central. They got out early and had that little 8-4 lead, what have you, and got the ball in transition on the 3-on-2. After that, it was a half-court game, and I think Farragut is dominating the glass and dominating the pace of the game. That's why they're ahead at the half.
Let's take a look at the numbers in the first half. Shooting still struggling a little bit from the field. That's 31% and 25% respectively for Farragut and Peoria.
Well, I think 5 for 25 of 16 just doesn't get it done. The other thing is neither team has been able to, get to the free throw line and knock down free throws. We thought that was incredibly imperative for Farragut, but their 4 out of 8's not going to get it done. Neither team much of a threat from the arc at all. 2 out of 4 for Farragut, but they don't really like to shoot it. Again, 16-11 in rebounds. If they continue to dominate like that on the glass, they'll win the game.
Not many turnovers to be had, not especially when you hold the ball for 5 minutes. And, of course, these are two good teams. The big number there that I see, 4 blocks inside for Peoria.
Well, there's no doubt. I thought Miranda did a great job. Now, he is in a little bit of a foul trouble, Miranda, with 3. Their team only has 5, but they're 2 big guys. Besides Brandon Lee, Livingston has 2 himself. I think it's extremely important that Miranda holds his ground on the inside.
Brandon Lee came up big, 10 of the 13 points scored by Peoria in the first half. And on the other side, well, we look for Ollie Bailey to get it going just a bit more. In fact, maybe a lot of people look to see the pace of this game pick up a little bit. I think we'll see that. Come on back. We've got more coming up at halftime here at Carver Arena right after these local messages. Fans starting to filter in following the halftime break here at Carver Arena, the second quarterfinal game of the day. Let's take a look at some early action. Brandon Lee got things started for Peoria.
Well, he gets a penetration, a ball reversal, and he felt it on that three-point jump shot. Then the penetration on the inside and the finish. Great strength on the inside for the bucket right there by Singletary. Then in transition, there's a no-look pass. Sean Livingston and the basket on transition. And again, Lee takes the benefit of that. Once again, Miranda the beneficiary of a Livingston pass. And then the inside-out play right here. Good ball reversal and a nice 22-foot jump shot in your face. Keeps things moving. Brandon Lee on the baseline and pull up. Nice, sweet, nothing but net kiss there. And again, transition with Peoria Center goes well. Inside out to Lee, and Lee finishes once again, has 10 points on the half. There's Bailey on the low post, and that I thought was the best set they had all night. Inside out pass. And there's the highlight of the afternoon, the Lion falling asleep during that 5-minute debacle.
Let's go to Lee Hall. He's got Chuck Bisher.
All right, Dave, thanks a lot, Coach. We see Central go to the four corners when you guys are ahead. What'd you think of the strategy there in the second quarter?
Well, he coaches his team. It wasn't bad for us. We're in foul trouble. We have Miranda with 3 and Livingston with 2. So it was a 16-minute game now. I mean, and you know, I can't coach his team. It was what he wanted to do against our zone.
Do you feel like it worked to your advantage?
Well, I don't think it hurt us. I don't know if it's worked to our advantage. We'll see what happens this half.
All right.
It was bad if we lose. Our strategy was bad if we lose. If we win, it was okay.
All right, Chuck, good luck to you second half. Back after this network break.
Peoria looking to repeat as state AA champions. Farragut looking to pick up a piece of hardware. We play the final 16 minutes here. Farragut the 3-point lead as we start half number 2. And the early pick by Mottler. And the conversion.
Mottler comes out. They play man-to-man as Peoria Center. Mottler comes out, just picks the pocket of Rodnell Harris and really gets Peoria back with some momentum very, very quickly in this half after Farragut had scored at the 3-second mark of half number 1.
Well, we were watching during the break. How was Chuck Bisher going to play it? He came right out in that man-to-man. We waited during that break, and he just sat there in a man-to-man, so that question was answered quickly, and it was answered effectively.
He's in attack mode right now, picking up full court now, trying to get more tempo to this game.
Singletary ahead to Bailey and gets the roll inside.
Ali Bailey with a finish. What a strong spinning move to his shoulder.
Let's check that. Let's make that Emmanuel Little inside. Bailey and Little were both there. Mottler rises and hits. Jacob Mottler coming out of the locker room. 2 quick buckets.
Great shot fake. He got Rodnell Harris to straighten up for just a second. Then the one dribble and the finish.
Lee on Little to the hole. Johnny Logan will tip it to Lee, and here comes Livingston, and he's blindsided by Singletary. Third foul on Chris Singletary.
And that is a very big part of this basketball game. Singletary is the one that they want the ball in his hands. And will that slow his aggressiveness down on the defensive end? He's going to have to be more careful.
3 fouls on Singletary, 3 on DeAndre Miranda, and 2 on Sean Livingston. The double team results in the turnover.
Key there was Farragut, or excuse me, Central entered the ball way too low and allowed the double team to transpire.
Harris inside to Bailey. Tough shot. And the Peoria fans here in Carver Arena do not like the whistle that was blown that sends Bailey to the free throw line.
Warfield held his ground, but he just did not keep his hand straight up. He got him right on the wrist. A good call by the official. He was not able to have enough self-discipline to stay vertical on that play defensively.
Ali Bailey has tossed away his headband. Look at the big seniors numbers. This is the 5th and 6th times that Bailey will launch a free throw today.
Only 1 rebound for Bailey. That's what's amazing. Logan with 4, really leading them on the glass.
2 go down for Bailey. 7 points and a 3-point Admiral lead.
Manuel Little's got the chore to guard Sean Livingston. His main job is to keep him out of the paint, the war zone.
Long one goes again. Brandon Lee. 13 for Lee.
It all started Livingston to Mottler. Mottler, the quick reversal. Lee shooting foot back, stepped into his shot. Great rhythm and timing on the release.
Brandon Lee head to Northwestern. Maybe the best, quote, unknown player in the state. Bailey works hard. Gets his own board. And the ball lost out of bounds. Brandon Lee, you know, you look at people like this. I mean, he's been swallowed up in the big attention with Sean Livingston. But how about the job Lee just comes out and, as you said, consistently great every night, and he has done it here in the biggest stage of them all to this point.
We just know what you're going to get from him every night. That's a coach's dream, because you can just put his numbers up on the board, you put his defense on the board, and just count on him.
A little contact there with Singletary and Weatherspoon. Singletary went hard. A lot of loose balls underneath. Then which way will this go? To Peoria.
Logan 0 for 4, Little 2 for 5. Singletary 1 for 5. Bailey 1 for 4. Just abysmal field goal percentage by Farragut. Yet they find themselves in a tie. They got to feel very, very fortunate. That's because they played solid defense. Set play called by Chuck Bisher, 24. Screen is going to screen and step out.
Livingston on the 15-footer. Emmanuel Little battled inside with Lee and Miranda, and the battle is won by the Lions.
Bailey 6'7", 212. That time was matched up on Livingston. He did a pretty good job. He stayed off, dared him to take the 17-footer, and Livingston continues to struggle from the field, 0 for 6.
Lamont Williams checks into the game for the Admirals as Johnny Logan will leave. Tied at 20. Free ball. And a foul in the backcourt. Rodnell Harris. That would have been a turnover. Harris hustling after the ball, ended up fouling Mottler. What a turnaround there.
Yeah, you go way back to last year. Central, Peoria, the defending state champions. Livingston never scored big time during that whole term. He contributed other ways. Hasn't scored yet tonight, yet you know they won it last year in position to win it this year.
In fact, Livingston's only led this team in scoring once in the tournament, and that was in the super sectional win over Mount Zion. Mottler, he's come up big early. Not this time. Weatherspoon. Loose ball to Mottler. Contact, no whistle, the score for Weatherspoon. Leslie Weatherspoon.
Lions want to pick up pressure and create tempo right now. They feel just a little bit of momentum shift in the favor of Peoria. They were down 3 at the half. They're up by 2.
They were all over the glass on the offensive end. Here's Franklin. And I think really what Chuck Bisher in a way would like, he'd like to get Farragut just a little bit out of control. Wolf Nelson has said, you know, for us to be successful, speaking of Farragut now, we have to stay patient and stay relaxed. 22-20 our score. Peoria on top of Farragut.
And welcome back to Carver Arena. Peoria High, a 22-20 lead over Chicago Farragut. We're with Bruce Boyle. Before Chuck Bisher, he was the last Peoria Central coach to win a state championship in '77. What do you think of this ball game so far, Coach?
Well, it reminds me of the old days when we had to play manual to get out of Peoria to get the state tournament when Farragut held that ball in the second quarter. It's a barn burner, Lee. It really is. Makes me a little nervous, buddy.
Tell me about that '77 team.
Well, we had 6 kids who played most of the time for us, and we were fortunate that they were all fine ball players. 5 of them went on and played Division I basketball, and 1 of them went on and played Division I football. So we had some good ball players.
What do the Lions need to do here?
Well, hopefully somebody will get a little warm shooting besides the one besides Lee, for crying out loud. He's carrying us right now. If it weren't for him, it'd be something else.
All right, Bruce Boyle, head coach of the 1977 state champion Peoria Central Lions. This team trying to repeat what they did here a year ago and carry on that tradition, guys.
And in 1908, it was Peoria that also won that state championship behind Les Stracer as Ollie Bailey completes a three-point play. And it's answered the other way by Livingston's drive.
You go back to that play, we got to remind people that was Miranda's 4th foul. Absolutely huge. He's on the bench now, and he's heard Chuck Fisher tell him very correctly, you just got to let him go and score there instead of getting your 4th foul.
Here's Bailey again. He senses something inside now.
But they're just going to keep pounding right now. They know Miranda's on the bench. Miranda had the good start, but foul trouble a factor here in the 3rd quarter.
Dustin Warfield will have to come up big now for Peoria. The Lions trail by a point. Mottler comes open. Little snares it.
Mottler much more aggressive, looking for opportunity to score right here. I just love the way that diminutive young man plays the game.
This was a whistle away from the ball.
So amazing, because Mottler would be a great point guard, wouldn't it?
There's a look at Peoria. What a rich tradition. This has been 21st trip here, and as we just mentioned, 1908, 77, and 2003. They win state championships 4 times, 2nd place, a couple of 3rds, and 3/4. That's a rich tradition that you can draw upon with the athletes here in the 2000s. This is Warfield. Nice little step in. And we go back and forth. The lead change puts the Lions on top by a point.
A little bit more entertaining action this quarter.
Bailey wants to go one-on-one on Warfield. Look at Bailey. There's Livingston. I think they may get, I'm not sure if it's going to be Livingston with the foul. We'll see. Nope, it's Dustin Warfield. I didn't think it was Livingston's foul. That would have been huge.
And the block was there, but the body contact came after the shot. Chuck Fisher's just got to breathe a sigh of relief that it was not on Sean Livingston.
Livingston with 2 personal fouls. Warfield now has his 2nd, and here comes Bailey. See 12 points, closing in on that 21-point average.
When you get to the free throw line as much as he does, you have to be able to finish. He's been there 7 for 8 right now. A great free throw shooter, about 70%, 68% on the year. He's going to probably shoot about 6 or 8 more before this is done.
One here breaks the tie. The lead flips again. It's Farragut. It's to be the lone representative now in this tournament from the Chicago Public League, as Simeon was beaten in the 1st game today.
Triple screen by Peoria for Lee, and they finish. How about that? Set play coming off the free throw. Double screen on the baseline. Lee comes off, squares up, and knocks it down.
15 points for Lee. A 1-point lead for Peoria, and we have a double foul as, not sure who is involved, Warfield. He picks up his 3rd. And Lamont Williams
goes to the arrow. So it'll be Peoria's basketball, but right now cooler heads must prevail on both teams' part. Good job by the officials stopping anything before anything else extracurricular takes place.
Significant. Warfield picks up his 3rd. Miranda on the bench with his 4th. Those are the 2 tough guys inside. Lee guarded by Franklin. Brandon Lee. Look at Little go up and get it. Farragut, the ball trailing by a point. Closing couple of minutes here in the 3rd quarter. The winner to get Carbondale in the state semis tomorrow morning.
They'll reverse the ball and get it in Ollie Bailey's hands.
William Nelson saw that there was a little bit of trouble in front of his bench, so he will take that timeout. Now, we should mention to folks that the timeout situation here in the state finals is different than what you're accustomed to in the regular season in high school basketball. Regular season, you get your 4 full timeouts and your 2 30s. Here, with the media timeouts involved, coaches only have 3 60-second timeouts they call, so they have to be a little more economical with that. And I think, Mark, you have to go into a game with the mindset of how you then would use your timeouts. You just cannot call them frivolously.
Well, there's no doubt in the college game, obviously coaches are used to the 16, 12, 8, and 4 timeout, the 4-minute segments. High school coaches have to discuss that as a staff before it happens, how they're going to utilize timeouts, if there there's a runner, they're going to wait for the immediate timeout or not. At this particular juncture, Walt Nelson felt that the ball was more important than a turnover right there with a 1-point deficit. So he burned one of his, now down to 2. But he needs to come out of this timeout with a set play, and they should have Ollie Bailey touch the ball every single time down the floor.
There's your score from earlier today. Carbondale 65-46 over Simeon. If you were not here for that ball game, you can look at that score, and that's what's going to go down in the books. That ball game was tied early in the 4th quarter, and that was an absolute battle up until free throws and everything widened it out.
That score was tied 44-44, and there was only 2 points scored the rest of the ball game.
Great field here in Peoria this year, and it continues this evening. 6:30, Homewood Flossmoor taking on Moline, and then we wrap it up an 8:15 contest. West Aurora, one of 2 teams that's defeated Peoria, will take on Hoffman Estates. You have just an outstanding Elite 8, and right now it's a Super 7. You take a look at the Peoria High fans. They are ready to go, and they know how to do it. They did it last year.
All 8 teams rated in the top 16 to finish the season.
Unbelievable. Singletary will give it up into the corner. Bailey wants to back it in on Warfield. Warfield with 3 fouls. He stands his ground, but Bailey knocks it down.
Well, he stepped out to face the basket, then he kind of backed his way in and still was able to square up and finish that shot. What a fine player. 16 points. He's carrying the Admirals on his back right now.
He has 11 points here in the 3rd quarter.
16 of their 29.
Couple of tournament championships for the Lions from Peoria. Thanksgiving and Christmas, and right now they trail by a point. Heavy burden on these players all year after winning the state championship last year and returning a bulk of that team. One of the players they're missing, Dan Ruffin, he came right here and played on this court for Bradley University, came to Bradley University, and Chuck Bitcher admits that's a loss for him. Long one by Warfield's no good. Bailey, the only man underneath the basket.
Interesting shot. Warfield's only made 3 3-point shots all year. I don't know if that's the one they wanted.
Ollie Bailey with the travel. It's interesting. Bailey was posting up in the first half. Now he's coming out to get the ball, and now he's looking to do the damage himself and all by himself.
Well, Dustin Warfield's making him do that. He's just working very hard to front him instead of trying to play. Early they played behind and leaned on him. Now they're trying to front him full and make him step out on the floor to catch the ball.
Livingston's been quiet in the scoring column, a little soft fatal way. Little again, great hands on that rebound.
Livingston, there he is. Change of pace, slow, quick, but he just can't finish, can he?
So far today, Livingston 1 of 7 from the field, 0 of 1 from the free throw line. Team trails by a point. But now they can reclaim the lead. Here's Livingston.
Showtime right there. See if that picks their team up full court.
The whistle and the foul will go against Livingston, I believe they're pointing at. And that would be Sean's 3rd foul.
Sean Livingston on transition. Made a play that exhilarated the crowd for just a minute. He gets the ball in transition. He's going to finish with a 1-hand jam dunk. Picks up the crowd, picks up himself, tries to make a play on the defensive end right after that, and then picks up his 3rd foul, just being a little bit too aggressive in the backcourt.
And Farragut now in the bonus as Emmanuel Little steps to the line. Held ball. The Peoria fans don't like it. The Farragut fans that are down at their end, they say that's good work inside. Bailey going on top of Livingston.
14 free throw attempts for the Admirals, 4 for the Lions.
Johnny Logan back in, 6'5", 236-pound junior. He gets it. He scores it. His first bucket of the day. He averages 10.
Logan felt the contact, but had strong enough at 6'5", 236 to feel some body contact and still kiss it off the glass for 2.
And once again, Wheat Trade leads. Belongs to Farragut. It's Peoria to hold here for the final shot.
Well, they're probably going to get the ball back in Sean Livingston's hands about 10 seconds ago. Go 1-4 low, let him create and try to dish off something to Brandon Lee. That's what they would do if they could draw it up.
A hold on Little as Livingston tried to scrape away from him. It's the 5th team foul on Farragut here in this half. It's Little's 2nd foul.
Peoria has to set a double screen right now to get the ball in Shaw Livingston's hands and create something on this baseline 1-4 baseline type play. Four low.
Put in the hands of their All-American. Working on Little. 2 quick fouls now on Little in the last 5 seconds. He has 3 for the game. 16 foul on Farragut.
You have 2 options on this inbounds play. You either try to run Brandon Lee off a double screen to a corner, or you lob it right here to Sean Livingston. That's your only 2 choices.
Little will sit for the final 2.5 seconds. Here's Livingston. He'll have to get it up. And with that, Farragut will take a 1-point lead into the 4th quarter. This IHSA broadcast is brought to you by Ept Electronics and Appliances. For the largest selection of electronics and appliances at the best possible price, visit Ept in Glenview. Big 4th quarter coming up after these local messages. We'd like to thank Old Chicago for providing food for our crew, taking care of us while we are here in Peoria. Just one of the many fine reasons if you want to make your way right down here to Peoria. So thanks again to Old Chicago, IHSA Network. Very grateful for your support. And
coming out of the 3rd quarter break, they have a double screen set for Brandon Lee. If they don't have that double screen, Chuck Fisher wants them to go their motion game and get 3 or 4 touches in the half court. There's a screen.
Lee inside with the left hand gets the good roll.
Isolation is Emmanuel Little, just like Chuck Fisher drew it up. Makes a coach look smart when players execute like that.
32-31, Peoria back on top. Singletary, tough shot. Chris Singletary with just 1 basket tonight. And again, the big contingent here from Peoria not too thrilled about the possession of this ball going to the Admirals.
Well, Singletary averages 18 points a game. He was held scoreless in the Super and only has 2 here this afternoon.
Bailey goes strong, goes glass and scores. 18 points for Ollie Bailey. The Admirals the 1-point lead.
They got to just keep riding the horse. I know it sounds like a replay, but every time down the floor he's got to touch the ball. He has not proven that anybody can stop him yet.
Lee, he's been the gun today. Offensive foul on Brandon Lee.
Brandon Lee loves the baseline.
Let's listen in. Those are some big bodies making big contact underneath.
Football on a 94-foot floor.
Harris, did he get the timeout? Yes, he did. That's the 2nd timeout used by Farragut. They have 1 remaining. And we've got a big action coming up. About 7 minutes left. It's a 1-point game. Farragut on top by a digit. Dunlap High School Band, our pep band here today on our Friday quarterfinals. They performed during the Simeon-Carbondale game, won by Carbondale, and they'll do it again tonight. And of course, we urge you to join us at 6:30. That's when Holman Flossmoor will take on Moline, followed immediately by West Aurora and Hoffman Estates. And as Mark mentioned earlier, it's the first time in basketball history here in Illinois, boys or girls, A or AA, that all 8 teams here in the Elite 8 were ranked in the top 16. And in fact, in the boys side here in AA, 7 of the top 10 teams are here in Peoria.
Yeah, Hoffman Estates couldn't crack the top 10 and they're 30-2 for crying out loud. Tough field.
Little rises. The tip by Logan. Johnny Logan gets up and gets it.
Above the rim, following the shot, a knack for the basketball, and he lays it right back in. Nobody checked off for Peoria.
This is the biggest lead we've had since halftime. Lee, though, tries to cut into it. Little pulls it down. A 3-point lead in the ball for Farragut, and with 6.5 to play, it looks like a big number.
Now they still have Miranda on Bailey. Well, that'll be a big telltale sign. He's got 4 fouls.
Singletary got caught a little bit. Now, I thought he was going to go all the way, and I thought he had an opportunity to go all the way, but kind of gave it up a little bit, partially blocked, and now Peoria gets the chance.
Still 6:10 to go, but I'll tell you what, this is a big position for Peoria.
Crowd comes to a hush here in Carver Arena. Some nervous stomachs here. Livingston goes right on Bailey. Still cannot get the roll. Ollie Bailey, the last man standing inside.
The rim has just not been friendly to Sean Livingston.
He has been there. He's only made 2 of 10. Inside Little. Inside Bailey. Inside Harris. Weatherspoon ahead to Lee. Here's Brandon Lee. It's a 1-point game.
Big exchange there. Farragut 2 or 3 or 4 chances, couldn't get it done, and then Lee in transition brings this crowd back to life.
Harris flies to the hole. The scoop and the score.
Athleticism taking over Carver in the last 2 trips.
37-34. Coming up on 5 minutes to play. Will the defending champs go home? Or will they get an opportunity to do it once again? The giveaway. Now Farragut the ball, the 3-point lead.
One of the few fundamental mistakes you'll see Sean Livingston make. He left his feet, got underneath the basket, nobody to pass it to.
And it's only the 5th turnover of the game for Peoria. Bailey working on Miranda. Little comes flying through.
Little comes off a double screen on the weak side. Ball reversed. He catches it in stride and knocks it down with a one-hand jam slam.
Timeout, Peoria. A 5-point difference. The defending champs a little rattled. The Chicago Public League looking to keep a team alive. Who's going to get it? Emmanuel Little says, let me do the flush. The Peoria High Lions lost their first game of the season on January 2nd to Pike High School of Indianapolis, Indiana, and that completed a 5-game in 5 days stretch, and then lost another one on February 21st to West Aurora up at the shootout at Northwestern University. They trail by 5 with 4:20 left here in Peoria.
Trying to isolate Lee down low again with the matchup.
Jake Mottler came out of the second half gunning. He's been quiet since then.
Lee with Harris on him had about a 3-inch advantage.
Good hands to keep it away from Lee. He was spotting for a good look. Here's a good look from Mottler. He got it. NBA range. It counts for 3.
Mottler for Peoria does indeed have the heart of a lion. There's no doubt about that. He plays much bigger than that small frame that he carries.
Singletary a little out of control. Little.
Good no call.
Warfield stood his ground. A 5-point lead is down to 2. A chance to tie here. Mottler, a good look. Livingston. Blocked by Little. Logan the rebound. Harris to Little. Again. And a foul. And 1, 2, 3, 4 bodies on the floor.
They are up to a rebound advantage of 30-18. That's the storyline.
Emmanuel Little with 7 of those boards as Brandon Lee has just picked up his 4th foul. Lee and Miranda with 4. Livingston and Warfield with 3 each. Emmanuel Little to shoot 2. 60% free throw shooter. Boy, what an exchange here. Mottler had a good look and would have given his team a lead.
Peoria has to get the ball in the hands of Brandon Lee down the floor this next set. They'll either post him or bring him off a double screen where he can do work his magic on the baseline.
Lions down by 3. Farragut has been holding them off here. Once they took that lead, Lee pops open. Timeout on the floor. Farragut on top of Peoria, 40-37. The Admirals under head coach William Nelson finding out what he wants them to do offensively and defensively. Let's listen in.
And you hold until you get there. We're going to make that big boy make a decision. One more rebound here. They try to foul 3 every time. They try to foul 3. So somebody needs to help out on it, and we can jump out there. Don't say it, do it.
Looking into the Peoria huddle, Chuck Fisher instructing his team. Of course, Chuck has been in these situations before. That's why you put into the schedule a tough schedule, and that's why they've been here. Here's how it looks, how we'll take it down in the last 2 minutes and 56 seconds. Lions with 2 timeouts left, 9 team fouls. So the next time they foul, it'll be super bonus, 2 free throws all the way through. Significant, that would be the arrow. The possession arrow goes to Farragut.
I think also significant, Peoria does indeed have 9 team fouls, as you had already mentioned. And we talked about Farragut getting to the free throw line. They've done so already 16 times. If they get ahead by another possession, I think you will see them pull the ball out and work some clock and force Peoria to have to foul. Right now, Brandon Lee has to touch the basketball. Farragut's for real, though, aren't they? William Nelson calls them the meanest, biggest, strongest team in the state of Illinois. Very, very large superlatives, but his team has played that way here this afternoon.
Great basketball coming up this evening. We've got to finish this one first. Peoria down by 3. Lee. Look at the height mismatch here. Livingston 6'7" against the 5'9" Harris.
They got to have somebody jumping him or it's going to be no contest.
Livingston didn't go that way. Here he goes. And the turnover.
Sean Livingston just not making consistent plays offensively right now.
Livingston went in hard. He'll track down the loose ball. Little. Farragut, a little frenetic play here. Coming up on 2 minutes. This is Emmanuel Little up top. Nice job by Warfield. There's Harris. And he loses it out of bounds with 1:58 to play.
Great slash to the inside with Harris and a lot of contact. No foul. Peoria right there has now another chance to get the ball back inside to Brandon Lee.
Foul. That's the 7th team foul. Harris picks up the personal. That's his second. Time to shoot free throws. With 1:57 left, we could decide it at the line.
Mottler, 69% free throw shooter, 37 for 54. And I bet you if they have stats at Peoria, he shoots even a higher percentage in these situations when the game's on the line.
Jeff Wires replaces Warfield. They'll exchange quickness and ball handling and a little defense here as Mottler steps to the line.
If he makes the second of these free throws, if he gets 2 and makes the second, they will go full court pressure.
That was smooth. He has 8 points. It's a 2-point game.
They really have 2 choices here: a zone press, 1-2-2, or face guard man-to-man with a center fielder, 1 man off the ball to try to be the trapper.
Will not happen as the miss leads to the rebound from Logan. Ball in the hands of the Farragut Admirals. Lee has to back off a little bit. He has 4 fouls. The lob goes inside. Singletary is strong, but he walks. You've got players on the floor. Brandon Lee, DeAndre Miranda with 4 fouls, Livingston with 3, and they have to play tough defense, and they just did.
Great defense. Maybe a poor choice on that particular trip down the floor by Singletary, trying to create a play. When he wasn't double teamed, he had 3 people around him.
The Sean Livingston's high school career come down to the final 90 seconds here in this state quarterfinal game. Mottler, kick out. A whistle. They're pointing at Farragut. They're pointing at Johnny Logan. 2 shots coming up for Livingston.
Peoria's team does such a great job utilizing the shot fake. You see on the shot fake there, Mottler breaks down the defense, kicks it to Livingston, draws the defense to him. He makes a shot fake, gets the ball to the chin. He can't finish, but he's at the stripe.
Sean Livingston, the first of 2. Livingston, a 78% free throw shooter.
Fundamental shot fake, pass fake.
This for the tie. They've got it. Timeout, Peoria. A 5-point lead is now down to nothing with 1:21 to play. This copyrighted broadcast is presented for the entertainment and non-commercial use of our audience. Any reproduction or other use of this program without the express written consent of the Illinois High School Association and cost broadcast sales is strictly prohibited. You know that 5-minute stretch we had there in the second quarter where we were just standing still? Forget it. Forget it. It's all about right now, the last 81 seconds.
And we had an interesting development during that timeout. First, William Nelson burned his last timeout with still 1:20 to go. He can't stop the clock again. Secondly, it's amazing, Chuck Fisher was going to call a timeout. He wanted a timeout to set his defense. Nelson used it first. He's done, so Fisher really caught a break right there, and there's no trump card left for William Nelson as far as timeouts are concerned.
Here's your 3-point showdown coming up Saturday. Of course, they settled this all yesterday. Doug Suarez and Martin Pazanin from Antioch, 12 apiece, along with Jared Bailey from Argo. Jeremy Moneyhun with 12 also for Schaumburg. And then the shut slam dunk. That's going to come your way as well tomorrow. L.C. Robinson, De'Aaron Williams, he's a local guy from Bartonville Limestone, Hyde Park, Arturo Gardner, and Demetrius Evans, the defending state champ from Chicago Von Steuben.
I don't want you to foul. Straight up, baby. Let's go. What's your defensive stand?
Your timeout situation once again. Peoria with 2 left, Farragut with none. We still have 1:21 left. There are no more media timeouts to be had. We'll see what happens. Tie ball game. 40 all. Full court pressure.
Tough situation right there for Miranda. Chuck Fisher says if Bailey gets it, don't foul. But you can't let him score with the score tied now either. They got to keep it out of his hands and not let him initiate.
Mottler on Little. Emmanuel Little tries to create. And it's an offensive foul on Emmanuel Little.
Great play by Dustin Warfield, 6'5", 204. The senior stepped in and made a big play on the penetration. Warfield held his ground, slid over 3rd-man rotation on the drive, stayed in there, and takes the charge.
That's the 4th foul on Little. Getting a little moisture off the floor. 1:10 left. There is your foul situation. Significant. Livingston has had the ball in his hands about 80% of this second half.
Peoria going 4 game, basically 4 corners. That's telling us unless they have a layup, they're going to take the last shot.
Interesting matchup. Here's Lee, hook from behind by Singletary. Chris Singletary. The back of the iron and out. And bodies all over this floor.
They got the steal, they got the run out, they got Singletary from about an 8 to 10 foot runner. He hit the back of the iron, then there was a free-for-all for the ball, and Peoria comes up smelling like roses.
Rondell Harris with the foul. DeAndre Miranda at the free throw line.
50 for 82, 61%. And as the cliche goes, none bigger than this one.
He gets 2. They're in the super bonus. He's missed his only attempt earlier. The 6'6", 190-pound junior. He'll get one more chance to break the tie.
Starts to get in your head just a little bit.
They are hanging on to the rails here at Carver Arena.
Not a lot of points, but a lot of excitement.
Rebound, Logan. Coming down to this. Remember, Farragut does not have a timeout remaining. Lee on Logan with 25 seconds.
They got to clear out a side and find Ollie Bailey.
He's going to get a 5 call if he doesn't watch it. Here's Little. Bailey, tough shot. Rebound, Lee. Brandon Lee is fouled.
Quadruple team in the backcourt. Brandon Lee's going to go to the arc with a chance to win this game, or at least put his team ahead.
Lee, a 69% free throw shooter. He gets 2.
And there's no doubt that they wanted the ball in Ollie Bailey's hands, but why with 17 or 18 seconds?
And from that spot on the floor. Instead, it's up to this young man right here. He was at Peoria Manual the first 2 years. He was brought up a Peoria Manual Ram. His father played for Peoria Manual in 1986.
His father coached at Peoria Manual. Now he's a Lion.
And he's given his team the lead.
You could see something special in him last year. Bill Carmody staff saw something special in him this year. He's come up big.
Peoria by 2. Timeout. The Lions. Brandon Lee comes up with a big rebound. He comes up with a big 2. And now we'll be up to William Nelson and his Farragut Admirals to design at least a game-tying score here with the 11.8 seconds left.
Well, Farragut led, if you break it down by minutes, quite a bit of this basketball game. But Peoria, they're the defending champs. They're basically, quote-unquote, on their home floor right here in Peoria. And they got the ball in Brandon Lee's hands on a big defensive rebound. An ill-advised shot, I would think, with the time element considered with 16 seconds to go by Ollie Bailey. And then the foul, 90 feet from the bucket. And Peoria takes advantage of that, setting up a full-court defense. Usually when this happens, somebody, probably Rodnell Harris, is going to get the ball in his hands and try to create and get the ball to the tin, and then let 4 gold shirts fly to the glass and try to finish with an offensive rebound if you can't convert on the first try.
Farragut held a 5-point lead in this quarter, but Peoria has shown their poise, and that, I think, when people look back, could become the difference if this is the score we finish at today.
Farragut with 13 turnovers on the day. That's a telltale because Peoria at different times after scores in the second half has applied that full court pressure, which I think we're going to see here. You will definitely see a face guard, no doubt about that, on Ollie Bailey. And what Chuck Fisher, I'm sure, has told his team in that timeout is, we've all heard it, it's not always the first shot that gets you to tie or lose. It's the second, third. You got to cover the defensive glass against an athletic team like the Admirals. Butler and Harris, watch that matchup. If Harris does indeed get the basketball on the open floor.
He is in midcourt. Singletary to inbound. He can run the baseline if he needs to. He won't have to. Singletary guarded by Livingston. Here we go. Singletary. Rebound, Warfield. Chris Singletary took it all the way. He got a look from about 8 feet out, and it falls out. Take a look.
For the second straight time, we see Singletary about 2 trips ago got the ball deep and couldn't finish. He takes it coast to coast, squares himself up, hits the back of the iron. Miranda comes up with a big rebound again. And Peoria, 0.8 of a second away from surviving, advancing, all of the above.
DeAndre Miranda, he is 0 for 3 from the line, but there's 0.8 seconds left. Manuel Little fouled out on that last sequence. 2 free throws coming up for Miranda.
you got to do is keep the ball in front of you right now if you're Peoria.
A couple of free throws there would have done it. Now Peoria will take a timeout. Miranda gets a little support from Jacob Mottler. Boy, less than a second to go the length of the floor.
This is a coaching dilemma that's been talked about many times. You make the free throw, you cannot lose. The worst you can do is overtime. You miss the free throw, you almost assure yourself of winning. You cannot get a rebound if you're Farragut, throw the ball, make a pass, and shoot. It can't happen with the time element. So, and if you make the free throw, though, they get the dead clock to make the long baseball pass. I would maybe be inclined to miss this free throw and utilize the clock to my advantage.
And really, right now, there's not much William Nelson can draw up.
See?
Right there. I want you to miss it, DeAndre. I want you to miss it.
Inside the three, 2 doesn't mean it, so he makes it, doesn't. So get up here. We go, coach. Let's go, y'all. 3 on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Well, Chuck Bisher has asked DeAndre Miranda to do something that DeAndre has done all day, and that's miss a free throw.
And you know what? We talked about it, and when I thought he should miss it on purpose here because of the time element. The bottom line is DeAndre Miranda has a little bit of pressure on him right now. He has to hit the rim.
Yes.
And sometimes when you try to miss, you just get backboard, you might hit the bottom, and then you'd have a dead ball situation. He has to shoot his regular free throw and try to shoot it long.
Bailey gets it off, and Peoria continues their march towards a repeat championship. Coming from behind, making up a 5-point deficit to knock off the Farragut Admirals 42-40 and put themselves into the state semifinals tomorrow morning against Carbondale, who earlier had eliminated the other Chicago Public League team, Simeon. Oh, this one was not easy for the folks here in Peoria. Lee Hall standing by. Lee?
Well, Coach, you're down 5 late in the ball game, and I guess all you can say is every win on Friday, the final day of the second to the last day of the season, is pretty.
It doesn't matter how you do it, Lee. The break we got today was when the horn went off, we were ahead. That could have gone either way. I'm very proud of our team. We never quit. I don't think Brandon Lee ever came out of the game and was totally exhausted. And Sean didn't have a very good shooting game, but it was a tremendous win against a team that's very physical, very tough, and I'm very proud of our team.
Congratulations to you.
Thanks. We get to play again. That's the big thing now.
You bet.
Thanks a lot.
Chuck Bisher, victorious today, going for 2 in a row, and now we're joined by our Country Insurance Player of the Game, and Brandon Lee just refused to let this team lose today, didn't you?
No, that was our thing from the half. They held the ball on us, and we got a little down, but we couldn't stay out of the game. So we had to come in the second half, focus, keep fighting, keep scratching, and we got a couple plays here and there, some good possessions, and we pulled this thing out.
Sign of a good team is they win when they don't always have their best game, just like a pitcher who doesn't always have his good stuff. And that wasn't your best out there today.
No, that wasn't our best performance. But the good thing about it, we played hard the whole game. You know, a couple shots weren't going in for a couple of our teammates, but we lifted each other up, gave each other words of encouragement. We did what we had to do to win as a team.
Brandon Lee, 21 points, our Country Insurance Player of the Game. Congratulations. Good luck tomorrow. The other B. Lee here in Peoria. All right, back to you.
Thank you very much, Lee. So the Peoria Lions, as Chuck Fisher said, their biggest break maybe when the final horn went off. They move on. Peoria 42-40 over Farragut, and we'll be back with more from Carver Arena right after this. There's your final score in the second quarterfinal game of the day. Peoria 42-40 over Farragut. And there were plays to be had here today. And, you know, you take a look, Mark, at the action or inaction that we had. You look back, there was that 5-minute stretch there in the second quarter where Farragut had that 3-point, or the 1-point lead actually at the time. They pulled the ball back out and sat on it for 5 minutes. They eventually got a bucket out of it. In the end, that actually does become a little significant because that did keep the players in foul trouble on the bench for Peoria, which was a factor late.
There's no doubt about that. You know, Farragut scored at the buzzer with 3 seconds to go, but the bottom line is the Lions had the heart of a lion here this afternoon. They made plays down the stretch. You know, Brandon Lee is just a very special young man. He kind of took his team on the back. You know, Sean Livingston had some struggles. There's no doubt about that, getting the ball in the bucket. Miranda in foul trouble. Brandon Lee, Mottler, those guys came up huge late in this basketball game, and you could kind of see the experience factor taking over.
It was one of the shots that Livingston did make. That's our Apt Electronics play of the game, the dunk on a fast break for Sean Livingston. He's the senior that's headed to Duke University, and he will get an opportunity to play one more time here in Peoria. And of course, that will come your way tomorrow morning as they will take on the Carbondale Terriers, who eliminated, as I mentioned earlier, the other Chicago Public League team, Simeon, in our first quarterfinal today. Now, coming up tonight, great basketball once again, and we knew this coming down here. You'll want to be here at 6:30. That's when Homewood Flossmoor will take on Moline. Again, two teams ranked in the top 10 in the state, and then a team that a lot of people think could possibly face Peoria in a championship ball game in a rematch of a February 21st game. That's West Aurora. However, Hoffman Estates will have a lot to say about that, so you make sure you're right back here in the station you're watching us right now. You want to be back here this evening at 6:30. But back to this one just for a second. As far as Peoria is concerned, this is why teams are great, because when your superstar Sean Livingston was off his game a little bit, you had the man whose name is not known that much over the state until right now, and that's Brandon Lee, when a guy like that can pick it up.
Well, there's no doubt, 22 points, and he got the ball in the bucket from the perimeter. He had some nice step-in jump shots after ball reversals by Mottler. He drove the baseline well. He has a really knack for slicing through and slashing to the basket. He can finish from the free throw line. He stayed active. They came out of a timeout with a post-up type play. He is just a complete player who also plays mean D on that end, and what a great gift it is to have a player like him to complement an All-American. You got an All-Stater. Not too shabby to take to the state semifinals tomorrow morning against Carbondale.
And as far as William Nelson is concerned, the head coach of Farragut, he was down here in 1995, lost in the quarterfinals to Thornton. He wanted to come back here and pick up some hardware. He was oh so close, but the Lions had something to say about that. Well, that will do it today for our afternoon coverage of the state quarterfinals. And again, make sure you're with us this evening at 6:30. And again, tomorrow we get it all started early on, 11 o'clock tip-off. We start the semifinals. We know the matchup in one of them. It will be the Carbondale Terriers against the Lions from Peoria. There's your final in the second quarterfinal. For all of us here at the IHSA Network, we say so long until tonight at 6:30.